Wednesday, December 13th, 2017. I was disfellowshipped from the Jehovah's Witnesses. One day before my birthday, mind you. Now, the whole story behind that is a different video, and the Jehovah's Witnesses are a pretty controlling group. So when you get disfellowshipped, you are no longer allowed to speak to friends and family that you've known your whole life. And it made me realize a lot about the human condition. I was separated. I could no longer speak to the people I once spoke to. I still had people at school that I was talking to, and I was still talking to this one girl that would text me every day. So it wasn't like I was completely alone, but the quick and sudden shift in my social circle, the people I used to talk to for hours, no longer can talk to. It made me realize a lot of things. And maybe you can relate to this because just 3 years later, 2020, we had the shutdown. Nobody could go anywhere. People lost their jobs. People lost their families. A lot of stuff changed in 2020. People went into isolation and also began to wake up, also began to realize their condition, the human condition, the society we live in, work, purpose, truth. These were things I was forced to reckon with when I was 17, turning 18, day before my birthday. So as a brand new adult, I had already been thrown into this world of social isolation. And it taught me three major things. I do look back and I wish some things were a little bit better, a little bit different, but at the same time I understand that this path has led me here to realize the truths that I now realize. And I don't think I would have came to those realizations if it was not for the sudden change in my social circle, if it wasn't for my shunning. So being shunned, I'm still shunned. I still can't talk to those people. They're changing their rules and stuff, but that's for another video. So being shunned from these people, can't talk to nobody. I realized that one, nobody really cares about you. Everybody is selfish. People really only care about themselves. Being a living organism on Earth, everything's main priority is to survive, gather resources. Even if you had to lie, cheat, steal, or murder in order to get those resources, you, as a living being on this earth, are a self-centered creature. You are everything you do is for your own survival. Even the social bonds that you create. Being a primate, we have this social gene. We have this biochemistry that engineers us to go and make bonds. We go and make these bonds because millions of years ago, monkeys realized that it's better to survive in groups. Your survival rate goes up. So the monkeys with the genes that allowed them to create these bonds efficiently were able to pass down their genes because they were in the group. The ones that didn't have those genes and were outside of the group did not survive and did not pass on their DNA. So that's a part of humans that we will never really understand. It's a part that kind of got lost. I'm not going to say everybody is super social. Every human is super social. We know that there are social disorders. But at the same time, it is generally among the populace a tool that you use. Socialization is a tool that you use. The bonds that you create are a tool that you use in order to get the resources that you need, in order to get the validation that you need. Because social isolation very much feels like death for primates. In fact, it leads to death if you socially don't have anybody to talk to. Especially in like babies that don't get any love actually lose their will to live and they can suddenly pass away. And it's the same for humans that don't receive any affection, touch, love, acknowledgement, recognition. They become self-deletal, if that's the word. And those are feelings that I fought with. Those are real emotions, real thoughts that you have to understand and navigate through when you're shunned from your social group, when you no longer have the approval of the people that once were called your friends or family. I don't think this is a bad thing though. I think this is a way of the universe playing out its energy. I believe every atom in this universe, if you are a scientific person, scientific minded, then you would understand that everything is looking for equilibrium. Every atom is looking for rest, balance. So I believe that this social gene that evolved over millions of years is a balancing of the universe's energy. It is a playing out of the highest source's real energy. We are just a reflection of what is meant to be, all was going to be. So I really don't believe this is good or bad. I really just believe this is source energy making sure that balance is maintained throughout the universe at all times. It is a part of its way of doing that. It's one of the aspects, one of the components. And me personally, I recognize this within myself as well. I have a very low tolerance for people who are ignorant, for people who do not educate themselves, for people who are not aware of their environments, of their social standings, people who lack awareness, people who lack knowledge, people who are steadfast in ignorance are despicable to me. They're disgusting. I can't stand to be around them. And the moment that I gauge how aware you are, or I gauge how knowledgeable you are, and you're just not up to a certain standard that I have, I seriously limit my social interactions with said person. Because I understand how energy works, and I can't have you coming around disrupting my waves, disrupting the brain waves that I have going on, disrupting the vibes and the patterns that I have built. You allow somebody else in your life and those patterns can be ruined. So I understand the necessity of not having everybody as a social bond and not actually caring for everybody. Because what I realized was the minute that I stopped serving the social function as a Jehovah's Witness, all the other Jehovah's Witnesses didn't care. I mean, I have friends that I had for 5 years, 10 years. And the moment I was disfellowshipped, everybody blocked me. Nobody's talked to me anymore. So it really helped me realize that people really only look out for their selfish intentions. It doesn't matter how good-natured it seems and how loving they seem. They only love you to the extent that they can benefit, receive, or have some type of in-group, some type of bond with you. But the minute that the foundation for that bond is gone, then you are gone too. There is no care for the actual person that is you, only the role that you play. And the minute you stop playing that role, then there is no real connection anymore. So this also helped me realize that love is conditional. You don't just deserve love, not from humans at least. When it comes to humans, you have to earn love. You had to play your role in order to be considered in the group. Robert Spilossi, if you go ahead and look him up, he has a lot of good stuff on YouTube where he talks about his studies of human psychology, molecular genetics, and stuff like that. And he really ties the bridge between the psychological, the ethereal, the consciousness, the subconscious, and genetic material. And you'll understand that a lot of things that you think are you are really just built into your genes. And one of those things is the fact that you are a social creature. If you didn't have the genes for it, then you would literally be a reptile. Like you wouldn't have the capacity to love. You wouldn't have the capacity to build relationships. This is only a gene within you, and it serves a purpose of survival. There is no real care, there is no real love. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can free yourself of attachments. Because a lot of bonds nowadays, a lot of relationships nowadays aren't really love. They're not really caring affection in the purest sense that we think of that word. They are more so just attachments. You can't let this person go because of what it means for your social life. You won't let this person go because they provide something for you. If this person lets you go, it would be an imminent threat to your survival. And that's how a lot of bonds are built off survival, not genuine interest for life, not genuine interest for consciousness and understanding where we all are from. And that's more so my perspective of life, of course, yes, I'm still very exclusionary. But at the same time, I am open-minded enough to at least talk to people. I'm not gonna throw you, say, oh no, you're a bad person because you're a Satanist, man. I can't get with that. I can't talk to you. That's demonic. I'm not gonna say that. I will literally sit down and talk to you. And if I hear something you say is off, I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna talk to you, reason with you, try to understand. And if you're just so steadfast in it and I'm really not buying it, then I'll be okay. I'm not gonna say, oh, this person is the devil and we need to out him. We need to ostracize him. But that's a lot of route that humans take. Once you realize, especially within religious communities, once they realize that you don't hold the same values, you don't hold the same priorities as them, then you are now outcasted. You are a danger to them. You're viewed as a threat. And it's just okay. You have to realize that bonds are temporary. Bonds are temporary. They're not supposed to be chased. They're something that are supposed to be fulfilled. You find a relationship, you find a bond, you understand what it means for you, you progress through it, and when it comes to its end, you have to let it go. They're supposed to be fulfilled, not clung onto. Again, a lot of things that people call love nowadays is really just unhealthy attachment. And when you realize this, you will be free from expectations. You will be free from you will be free from limiting beliefs and free to explore on your own. Being alone, being shunned at 17 gave me the freedom to explore and understand things without the fear of being shamed or degraded. And that's what I really needed at that time. Being in that high religious control group was very detrimental to a developing mind such as myself. I was always able to hold on to my own self of being despite the religious indoctrination, but at the same time, it did socially condition me to a certain point. I'm not immune to everything. Nobody is completely immune, but with awareness, you can work through negative social patterns, maladaptive social patterns. I'm a RBT now, so I really understand behavior and how the environment plays a role in behavior. I study psychology, chemistry, anthropology. I've studied a lot in order to understand what this life is, what this world is, and the scientific findings that you find within anthropology, within molecular genetics. These things will be seen as the devil's work, as heresy within religious communities, as non-truths, even though they are truths. So being socially outcasted, being shunned, really helped me understand too that people are not searching for enlightenment. People do not care about truth. People do not care about understanding what reality is, understanding what they are. And this is a feeling that I could never understand. Since I was a child, I've been painfully aware of my own existence, hyper aware of my own condition and being. Some of my earliest moments that I remember, I had to probably be like 6 or 7 months. I wasn't that old. I remember I wasn't able to move my limbs much, and I was restrained to a chair almost all the time. I was always unable to use my autonomy because I couldn't. I didn't have the muscles for it. But I was forced to realize my own existence because I was sick. And I would just be scratching myself. And I remember the pain was so bad. I would be scratching myself so bad that it would force me to become aware and conscious of what was going on. And I remember those moments so vividly because I had no language in those memories. In those memories, all I remember is pure emotion. All I remember is pure existence. There was no words in my mind. There was no words to describe what I could feel. I had none. All I had was existence, consciousness. That's all I had. I had no way of understanding anything. All I understood was this uncomfortable sensation. So I was been very painfully aware of my own existence. And moments like that, another moment, for example, I was about 7 and I was in the shower and I was washing myself and I just came to realize, why did I choose this life? Why would I want to be in this family? Why would I want to be a Jehovah's Witness? I'd never understood why I would choose to be here. I didn't understand why anybody would choose to live a life. And those thoughts of choosing were just natural to me. It was like I just knew that I chose my life. And I could never really understand that as I grew older. I kind of lost that memory, but then meditating in my 20s helped me kind of unlock these memories again. So I look back at that memory and I'm like, wow, I was just kind of always painfully aware of my own existence. And that awareness drove my search for understanding and truth. So by the time I was 16, I was already fully convinced that Christianity was fake. But I had to pretend in order to socially survive. Again, what was at risk was my family, my friends, and I couldn't sacrifice that yet until I was in a position to support myself. And in these moments where I was searching for truth, I would go out and I would share my truth. I would share what I would learn. And my family, my friends would ostracize me. They would put me down saying, that's not in the Bible. That's not what God says. This isn't true. My book from 2,000 years ago is true, not your new scientific research. Not your understanding of the universe and evolution and string theory. None of that stuff is real. They didn't believe in quantum entanglement, stuff like that. So I go out and I realize, as I'm trying to help people in my own community, I'm trying to help other Jehovah's Witnesses understand that what they're being told is lies. And even my own peers would not understand me. Even my own peers would look at me like, well, why do you feel like you understand the truth? And I would just flip and on them. And I'm like, well, either I don't know what I'm talking about, and they're correct, the Jehovah's Witnesses are correct, or the Jehovah's Witnesses are incorrect, and I'm correct. Which either way, you have no way of proving who's right anyway. But you choose to believe in whatever they tell you regardless. And they have no proof of anything they're saying. The Jehovah's Witnesses, the leaders of the Jehovah's Witnesses do not read Greek, do not read Hebrew, are not theologians. They are random guys, typically just random Jehovah's Witnesses who rise up in power and never really truly understand the Bible, yet they teach the Bible, yet they prescribe lifestyles to people as if they understand the Word of God, as if they really understand what's going on in this existence, and they don't. Yet people will follow them. And when you try to break them out of that mode, when you say, hey, you've been lied to, actually. You live in a chaotic, sporadic world, and you're being lied to by people. These are just people. These aren't God's servants. They won't believe you. They rather believe what they've always been believing. People choose comfort over the truth. People choose familiarity over the truth. People do not seek truth. People do not seek enlightenment, generally. People rather believe their lies. When I was 24, I was trying to tell my coworker about hot dogs. I was like, hey, I know you just bought all these hot dogs for you and your family. Do you know what's in hot dogs, though? Oh, Isaac, don't tell me that. Isaac, I'm not trying to hear that, Isaac. I'm like, what? I'm like, you know it's actually kind of disgusting what's in your hot dogs, right? It's actually kind of nasty the way it's produced. You don't want to understand that? And she said no. That's a real conversation I had with somebody. She said, no, I'd rather just keep eating this. Don't tell me, because if you tell me, then I won't eat it anymore. And that type of cognitive dissonance really helped me understand at 24 that you can't. I just can't help people. It doesn't matter how much truth you put in front of people. People really, truly, consciously choose familiarity over the truth sometimes. They consciously choose it. Even when you tell them. And again, that's just something I can't relate to. When I learn something new, it changes my whole perspective. It changes the way I see the world almost instantaneously. And it's jarring. It's actually sometimes psychologically tormenting to me. Sometimes I'm like, why am I the one to have all these deep and heavy thoughts about existence 24/7? I can't take my mind off of it. And now I'm learning these things and it's breaking down the way that I see the world. Why do I have to be the one so interested in these things? But regardless, I still go after that. And I still believe in the new things that I found. And when I find something new and I can prove it to myself, I do not look back. I'm not going back to eating hot dogs once I find out the truth. It changes my way of being. When people are presented with truth, when people are presented with enlightenment, oftentimes they revert. They don't even try to investigate. They don't even try to prove something new to themselves. Experiment. They don't even try that. They rather be in their comfort, in their familiarity. And again, I just could never relate. So as time, this shunning is going on and I'm still trying to help people understand, it's just something I realized, hey, this isn't everybody's path. Everybody is not here to understand the truth. Everybody's not here to be enlightened. Some people are destined to come back again because they don't understand cycles. Because they don't understand the stars above them and where they actually are. I do have pity for some. But majority are willfully ignorant. And that's just the type of stuff I despise. It's disgusting to me because I feel like problems stem from ignorance, willful ignorance. When you know the truth and decide to do the opposite of truth, then you're going to have results of dysfunction when you ignore the truth. Systems can't operate and regulate properly without truth. If there is lies thrown into your system, then you will have a worse outcome. You will not be producing the highest vibration that you can if you are not adhering to truths. And I guess truths, enlightenment is somewhat relative, but some things are objective. A lot of things are objective. And some of the objective truths are especially religious. Religious truths sometimes are just false. Especially within the Jehovah's Witness organizations, Christianity, sometimes even as a whole, they teach stories like Moses. They say the Moses story was real, that Israelites were really enslaved in Egypt and the Pharaoh actually died in the Red Sea. But that never happened. There's not even real records of the Israelites ever being enslaved in Israel. Yet they teach this story as if it's true. It just baffles me. It truly just baffles me. So when I tell people, as I'm a Jehovah's Witness, I'm telling people, hey, Moses' story isn't true. That's not real. And they tell me I'm lying. They tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, well, I understand now. I can't help everybody. Everybody doesn't want truth. Some people are really here to understand family. Some people are here to understand work. Some people are here to only be a part of the system and not elevate above it, not truly understand and see the whole picture. And that's okay, because the universe needs balance. If everybody's enlightened, then nobody is. If everybody's rich, nobody's rich. So if everybody is lower vibration, everybody is avoiding the truth, then everybody has the truth. There is no such thing as truth anymore. So the fact that there's balance in this universe, the fact that I exist, is proof of the balance in the universe. To me, at least. It proves that even though there are people out here who choose willful ignorance, there is still truth in the world, and you are I am the balancing act of the truths that need to be heard in the world. And not everybody will accept it, because if everybody did accept it, then there would no longer be truth. Everybody would be awakened. It is a very interesting conundrum. You will never truly understand, as a human, you will never truly understand existence in its fullest aspect. So, polarity, opposites, stuff like that is just a little bit harder for me to explain. I'm sure somebody could probably explain it a little bit better than me. But polarity, opposition, balance, these are hard concepts for humans to understand, because our brains are built for survival, not optimization. And seeing people who are willfully ignorant, seeing people who are too scared to open their mind, makes me so appreciative of the mind that I have, of the being and the essence that is me. I am highly appreciative. I cannot think of a worse way to live then outside of exploration, outside of seeking truth, I cannot imagine a life where I am not seeking God, where I am not seeking enlightenment. And those are real paths that people are choosing. And I understand that those paths need to exist for balance to exist in the world. But at the same time, I'd rather be on this side. I feel like this is the winning side. Sadly, I do feel like I'm on the right side. But whether it's right or wrong, I am grateful. I am simply grateful for all the knowledge that I have, all the experience that I have in searching for God, in searching for enlightenment, searching for truth. And I understand a lot of people will walk around without the experiences that I've had, without the visions that I've had. And it makes me truly sad for some people. And it makes me realize that I am actually blessed, that I am actually chosen. And I'm sure there's others out there who are actually blessed, actually chosen. I've ran into some, but it's rare. It is rare. So being shunned from the Jehovah's Witnesses, being shunned and ostracized and having to redo my whole life really opened my eyes to the fact that people do actions like that. They separate themselves from other people because they don't understand, because they don't seek truth, because they don't know what's actually going on in this world, how energy actually flows. They are simply playing out. They are simply cogs in the machine. A lot of people, sorry, but a lot of people are simply cogs in the machine to make sure the balance keeps running. I feel like if too many people woke up, the balance would be thrown off. So lastly, all this appreciation that I have, all this love that I have for the truth-seeking nature of myself helps me realize the nature of my being and that I am connected to God. It is not for the fact of my own self. It is not for the fact of my own being that I am this exploration. It is not by my own means that I am so open-minded. It's not by my own means that I am so truth-oriented, that I am a seeker of enlightenment. This is not because of what I am. I did not cause these things. It is because of the source that is all things, and I am a reflection, a incarnation, a stream of the source energy. I am a reflection of its being. I understand that connection now. Understand that if God is truly everything, then he is also the things that are opposite of me, what I consider me. But I am also him. It's a hard concept to really explain. And it goes back to the balance thing. But it makes me hyper appreciative of the fact that I can understand these things and I have this connection with God. You'll explore your talents. I was shunned. I couldn't talk to nobody, so I started making music. So I started dancing again. I started getting into content creation. And it was really with my astrology and my music creation that I was able to understand my talent in speaking, my talent in divination, my talent in mediumship. I can give you a message. I've given messages to hundreds of people. I used to do Spoon. There was this radio app called Spoon. I got up to about 300 followers on Spoon, and all I would do was read astrology charts. People would come, probably 10, 12 people at a time, and sit and listen to me talk about astrology. And I would get a whole bunch of comments talking about how I'm helping them, how I've helped them see aspects of themselves that they did not understand, and how I opened their eyes to astrology, and how I opened their eyes to the connectedness of this universe. I've really experienced those things. I've really helped people in those ways. So when I see those talents, and I see the synchronicities, and I feel the spirit flowing through me in those moments, I am undeniably convinced that I am connected to source energy. I'm not sure about everybody else, because I do believe in balance. So if I believe I am God's chosen, I believe I am source's child, I believe that I am endowed with a whole bunch of source energy that not a lot of people get, then I also know that there are some beings, some humans, that don't have any endowment at all. That some humans are pure animals. That some humans are just pure amalgamations of thought and action and behavior. They never step outside of that. I believe also in demons. I believe that some people walking around may not have a soul, may actually have a negative soul, a destructive soul. Not that it's wrong, not that it's right, but it is something to be aware of. And understand their influence. And understand where they should be practically applied. For instance, someone such as myself can't be practically applied in every avenue of life, in every area of life. And people who are destructive, people who resent light, people who are steeped in darkness, they cannot be applied practically to every aspect and facet of life. They have to be understood. So again, I go back to appreciation and understanding that for whatever reason, I am a vessel. That for whatever reason, this existence that I am aware of is one that is closely tied to source energy. Closely tied. And not everybody will get to truly understand what it means to be this close and walk with God every day. Every single day that I think about existence and the grandness and the diversity of God. Not a lot of people appreciate that. Not a lot of people walk with those thoughts every day. A lot of people walk with thoughts of fear. People walk with thoughts of fear of their job, getting to work on time. And I understand that. I was in that life. People walk with the fear of social expectations and living up to a role. And I understand that. I one time lived that life. People walk around with expectations and hopes and dreams, striving, desire for the future. Desire being one of the Buddhist, the Buddhists believe that desire is actually the root of all suffering. Desire. But people never really truly understand that desire is not a part of them. All these things I have been given understanding, a deep understanding, a real connection to. And a lot of people simply will not understand that connection that they have to source. And the way that I scientifically prove that we are all God, that we are all emanations of source energy, is the fact that everything at one point was just one thing. Even if you don't believe in the Big Bang, you don't believe in the singularity, there's new research coming out that seems to be that we were actually a black hole, that we are in a black hole. So, whether or not you want to believe in the singularity, let's take our solar system, for example. 99% of the mass in our solar system is the sun. 99% of all mass, of all matter within our solar system is the sun. And before the sun was born, when it was in its nebula, it was cooking all the heavy materials that you see. I believe stars really only form with oxygen and helium. Not oxygen, hydrogen and helium. I think those are the two real elements that don't need to cook, really. I'm not that highly advanced in astrophysics and astrochemistry, but I understand some stuff. But for sure, once stars are actually bright and they're cooking, they start making other elements in their cores. These atoms come together at lightning speeds, fast speeds, high pressures, high temperatures, and create iron, nickel, all the foundations that you need for ground. All the foundations that you need to build enzymes and hormones. And those enzymes and hormones become tissues. And these tissues become organs. And these organs become systems. And these systems become beings. Singular beings. You are comprised of the same stuff that was cooking in the stars. The atoms, all the molecular material that was cooking in the stars millions of years ago is still here. It's still here, right here. It's been here for millions of years. And you're constantly breathing it out, breathing it in, pushing it out, and taking it in. Constantly renewing yourself with the same energy that's been here for millions of years. as if it's a part of you. You don't even have to think about it. Your body, when you eat, what you eat literally becomes what you are. It replaces the cells in you. So you eat bad food and you feel bad. Yeah, it makes you feel bad when you eat fatty foods. And you feel more alive when you eat fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, because those cells are actually alive. You are eating live material, and it makes you feel more alive. And it gives you a vibrancy to you when you eat healthier. You are all the things around you. All the things around you can become you, whatever you think you are. You are found in the air that you breathe. Without the air that you constantly take in and push out, you wouldn't be. Without the water that constantly flows from each living being back into the sky, back into the pond, you wouldn't be. These cycles that keep happening over and over, you are a part of the cycle and you benefit from the cycle. How else could we be separated from God? If all things are connected like this, if that's just what our solar system does, what about all the other solar systems? What about the very first star? It makes you think. It really makes you think and appreciate the source. It helps you really understand the connection that you have to source energy. Sadly, a lot of people just won't understand that. Like I said before, a lot of people just won't understand that. And when I was shunned, when I was understanding these things and coming to a real knowledge of truth, it was just something that I had to look back on people and say, man, those people think they're separate from God. These people really believe in separation. They don't understand. They don't see how they're connected. Even though it's plain as day, that you absorb the environment around you, the environment that you were in as a child, constructs how you will behave as an adult. If you were in a low-income family at the age of 5, you will have more stress in your life. You will produce more stress just from simply being raised in a low-income family. You are very much the environment that is around you. All things are connected. It feeds into you. You cannot be without the other things that are around you. So to me, being a part of God is not a question. You cannot tell me that I am not a part of God. You cannot tell me that I am separate from God. That is a scientific inaccuracy to me. And some people, sadly, will never, ever understand that, no matter how much time on earth they keep walking. And these are just some of the things I realized as I was shunned from the Jehovah's Witnesses. Again, I can get into that story and how it actually went down and the corruption that I saw, but it didn't make me bitter. I'm not, well, yeah, some days it was harder than others. Some days for sure were harder than others. But I never, ever gave up on life. Sadly, a lot of people, a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses who get disfellowshipped and they can't talk to their family and friends anymore, sadly, they choose not to live. They choose it's too much for them. They either go back to the organization that socially repressed them and socially conditioned them, or they end up taking their own life. I'm glad, super happy to say that I've been blessed with so much light that those thoughts could never overcome me. Sure, it came and went, because it's hard. It's hard dealing with social isolation. But it never broke me. I would get close, yeah, I would get close. I would lose my mind. But I never lost it. I never truly lost it. I would be losing, oh, he's losing his mind. No, I didn't lose it though. I'm just kind of unhinged. I'm just a little bit more unhinged. But I understand that some people don't have enough light in them to persevere through something like that and see the truth for what it is. And to look over the social expectations and social conditioning that the whole world brings about us. I'm giving the example of the Jehovah's Witnesses because that's what I was in, and they're a highly controlled group. So I understand how that propaganda works, and now I can see it in the American education system. I can see it in the politics. I can see it in other areas of life because I came from a sect. I came from an organization that lived and breathed control, authoritarian control. So now when I see any form of control, it is blaringly obvious to me. That person is trying to control you. But some people seriously can't see through that. So again, I am just truly grateful for the existence that I have, for the knowledge and capacity to understand light on this level. If you can understand this, if you resonate with this, then please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. These are real thoughts that I'm having. These are real truths that I'm trying to get out into this world. And I've been just a little bit more hesitant to make videos like this because I would hate I would hate to give somebody the wrong information about source. I would hate to lead somebody astray from their path. So I'd rather not speak on it at all, because I know how hard it is to convey these thoughts and how hard it is to even begin to understand the power of source and the connection and the connection that comes with it. So if you understand, you like these type of videos, make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to try to keep videos like these coming out where I'm just giving you pure thoughts, pure energy, and not too much editing and stuff like that. Do you guys like the lights? I got lights in my room, guys. I feel like I am elevating. Anyway, until next time, guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to make a video. But it's going to take me a while. And it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be crazy. It's a new idea I just had. Anyway, until next time, guys.